So now we are going to turn our work this way to the inside of the cardigan. And we're going to put a single crochet row all the way up for the collar, all the way around till you get to the other side. And we're going to do one single crochet in every stitch. Now for me, since I have two different colors, I'm going to continue with the dark blue until I get here. And I'm going to switch my color to the light blue. If you are using the same color, you just go straight on and make your single crochets. This is optional. If you did two different colors, you don't have to do this. You can switch to the main color and just do your single crochets. Okay, so we're going to chain one and single crochet in the first space. And since these aren't officially stitches, you have to do evenly as best as you can and make single crochets across. And then when I get here to the next color, like I said, I'm going to be changing color, but you do not have to do that. And then continue on with my single crochets. And just get them evenly into these spaces here that doesn't have an actual stitch. Don't do it too tightly either because you don't want it to draw up. So kind of have them on the loose side. Okay, so I'm going to continue on making my single crochets until I get to the other side. And then when I get to my other side where it's blue, I'll switch colors again and meet you at the other end. Okay, I have finished my single crochet row all the way around the collar, and I have ended here at the end, and I fastened off. And like I said, I changed color. But if you have the same color, you'll go all the way to the end. Okay, so now I'm going to attach to the very end of this corner. I'm going to attach the yarn, and we're going to do a double crochet row all the way around the collar. So we're going to chain one. Go back in the same stitch, do a double crochet, and then do a double crochet across in every stitch. And I'm going to do 3 double crochet rows all the way from the collar to the other side and come back. After I do 3 rounds, I want to see how wide that is. This is where you will decide how many rounds to put for your cardigan. You need to try it on and decide. You put the 2 panels together, the front panels together, and we'll see. Let me show you on this one. Okay, this is your front of your cardigan, front panels, and this is your neckline up here. So you're going to do your double crochets all the way around and down for 3. I'm going to be doing 3 rounds at first, and then you can try it on to see how much space you have in here. That will determine how many rounds you go. That is your creator's choice. If you want more, you can add more. But you have to consider we're going to be putting a front post, back post collar on here also, just like we did at the bottom of our cardigan. So you need to make sure you allot for how much this you want. So I'm gonna start with 3 double crochet rounds, and then I know I'm gonna put about this much of a collar on mine. Because I like mine thicker and wider like this. So I think that 3 double crochet rows all the way back and forth will be plenty. And then I add this, and that'll be perfect for both sides to meet. So I'll catch up with you when I have 3 rounds of double crochets completed. And then we can see, you try it on and see how yours fits, and you can decide if you need more. Okay, I've made it to the end. I ended up doing 3 double crochet rows. So now I'm going to turn. Let me see. We're going to start with doing the front post, back post ribbing. So for this row, we're going to chain 3, turn your work, and then we're going to start with the front post double crochet around this first post. Not the one, this one right here is the same as the chain 3s on top of. So this next post right here is where you're going to start, right in here. So we're going to double crochet front post. And then the next one is a double crochet back post. Front post, double crochet, and then a back post. So you alternate back and forth. So there's your start of your ribbing. I am going to do 4 rounds, including this one, and then you can also do more or less depending on what you like for your particular cardigan. I found that what I did for the bottom here, that I like the length or the width of this, so that's what I'm going to do right here. So I'm going to do 4 rounds of front post, back post, and then I'll catch up with you when I am finished. Okay, I made it to my last round, front post, back post. I have snipped my yarn and I'm going to fasten off. I ended up doing 5 rows of front post, back post for my ribbing, and I think it looks really nice the way it came out. Okay, now we're going to work on our sleeves. So choose either sleeve you want to start with. And here at the bottom, for that extension is, we're going to start at the bottom part of your sleeve, under the arm. So we're going to attach our yarn to the right side over here in the corner. And we're going to this space where your rectangle, where the big hole is, we're going to attach right in there. Just attach your yarn. And then we're going to work into the next space. Over these stitches here that you have, I'm going to be putting 7 decreases, one right after the other in this across here. If you have more, like if you did more rows than I did, then yours will be wider. You might have to add an extra decrease, which is fine. Or if you have less, maybe you only put 3 or 4 rows in here, so you'll just need to do a few decreases. It depends on how many rows you did. But for me, which I did between 7 and 8 rounds, do 7 decreases and just make it fit in here. Our purpose is so we don't have it all bunched up like this, and it's under the arm would be all bunched up. So you just kind of make sure it evenly decrease across here. But for me, I did 7. We're going to double crochet decrease. Let me move this so you can see it better. Okay. In the next section here, I like going into the side of the stitches. finish your decrease on this side. So that is one decrease. Go on to the next space and start your decrease. That's 2. Three. That's 4 and 7. So we got our 7 decreases. And then we're going to do double crochets on around until you get to the top section where your rectangles meet, right here. So go until you get to right here, and I'll catch up with you. Okay, I am almost to where the triangles meet. I meant to tell you to stop when you have 2 stitches before you get to the corners. So we're going to do 3 decreases. So let's do our let's start 1. And then we're going to do another decrease where we're going to take these 2 holes and make them come together as 1. So go into the 1 and then go into the other side to make your decrease. And pull it kind of tight so that it closes up. And then 1 more decrease. Okay, so that is where the shoulders, the top of the shoulder, and then we have our 3 decreases. Okay, so now we're going to continue on around doing double crochets until we get back where we started. Okay, I have 1 more stitch left. And then we're going to slip stitch in the top of this with your first decrease. Just slip stitch and pull it tight so it closes that up. Then for our next round, we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to do 4 decreases. For me, it is 4 decreases. Like I said, depending on what you have here, just do as many decreases as you need to get across. I'm going back into the same spot I'm in, and this is where I start and make my decrease. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. Now we're going to continue making double crochets all the way around until you get back over to the other side. Okay, I made it to the last stitch in that round. Now we're going to slip stitch to the top of your first decrease. And chain 1. And then we're going to decrease again. For me, it will be 2 decreases. And then double crochet all the way around till you get back to your beginning. Okay, I made it to the end, and I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that first decrease. Chain 1, and then I have these 2 decreases that I did in the previous round. I'm going to do 1 more decrease on those 2. And then I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch. And for this round, we need to do 5 total decreases. So I just did 1 already. I did the 1 down here at the bottom. So evenly space out. I mean, you don't have to count. You can eyeball it. So that if this is 1 down here, you did 1 down here, I'm going to do another one about here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just evenly around your sleeve opening. Total of 5 decreases. And I already did 1, so I'm going to make sure I do a few more, 4 more, and then I'll catch up with you when you get back over here. Okay, I made it to the end of that. I'm going to slip stitch to that decrease. Okay, for the next round, we're going to do chain 1, and we're going to do just 1 double crochet in every stitch around. No decreases at all. Okay, now we're going to, I made it to the end, and we're going to slip stitch to the top of that first double crochet, and then chain 1. And for our next round, we're going to do another decrease on this end, and we're going to do a decrease when we come back around. So the first decrease is here. And then do double crochet in the next stitch. And you double crochet all the way around. And then when you get back over here, you stop when you get to your second, to the 2 stitches left. Okay, we have 2 stitches left, and we're going to do 1 more decrease. And then slip stitch to the top of that first double crochet. Then chain 1. And for this next round, we're going to do 1 double crochet in every stitch around with no decreases. And we're going to do that for 9 rounds. So I will catch up with you when you have 9 double crochet rounds. Okay, I've made 9 double crochet rounds. From here, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now we're going to do chain 1, and then we're going to do decrease. Then double crochet in the next stitch. And double crochet all the way around. And then till you get to your last 2 stitches, and then we're going to put another decrease on this side. Okay, we have 2 stitches left, so we're going to make a decrease. And then slip stitch to the top of the next stitch. Chain 1. And then this round is a double crochet round with no decreases. So let's do double crochet in every stitch around. Okay, we're at the end. We're going to slip stitch to the top of that first stitch. And then we're going to chain one. And then we're going to do another decrease at the beginning of your round and then one at the end of the round. So you do regular double crochets all the way around. You'll stop when you get to the 2 stitches left and make another decrease for this round. Okay, I made it to my end of my round. I made that last decrease and I slip stitched to my next stitch. For the next 2 rounds, you're going to do a double crochet round with no decreases. And then the one after that, you're going to do 1 decrease at the beginning of the round and 1 decrease at the end. So you're basically repeating the last 2 rows. So you start with that, chain 1, and double crochet all the way around. And then next round, you do your decreases. And I'll catch up when you get finished with that. Okay, so now we're going to do a chain 1, and we're going to complete 10 regular double crochet rounds. So you chain 1 and do double crochet in every stitch around, and we're going to make sure we do that for 10 rounds. So once you get there, we'll come back and we will finish off the sleeve with a front post back post ribbing. So, all right, I will catch up with you after you have completed 10 rounds of double crochets. Okay, so now I'm going to fasten off. And I'm going to change color because I want my cuff to match the ribbing. So I'm going to attach in any of the spaces here on the end. And we're going to chain 1 and do a double crochet back into the same space. And I'm going to do a 1 round of double crochets in this color. Okay, I made it back to the beginning and I'm going to slip stitch in the top of that first double crochet. And now we're going to chain 3 and start my front post, back post ribbing. We're going to start with the front post around this first one right here. Do front post, double crochet, and then a back post, double crochet. Front post, back post. You do that all the way around till you get back over here. Then you slip stitch to the top of that chain 3. I'm going to do a total of 3 rounds of the front post, back post, and then I will catch up with you when I get there. Okay, I've made it to my last round of front post, back post. I ended up doing 4 rounds of the back post, front post for the ribbing, and I have already fastened off and sewn in my ends. So that is it for your sleeves. You need to go do this whole sleeve on the other side. And then, okay, for your pockets, at the bottom, right here, where your bottom of your rectangle, it looks like a triangle right here where your stitches have come together. I am going to be making a triangle pocket. And once we have our triangle made, we're going to fasten it right here, and we're going to sew down on this side and at the bottom, and then your hand will go into this section, into the pocket right here on this side. So we'll leave this side open. Okay, so let's get started making your triangle, and I'm using the opposite color. I'm using this second color for my pocket, but you can do whichever you decide. If you want it to be the same color as your main cardigan, it's up to you. Okay, let's start our triangle. We are going to make a chain that is the length of, because this is the width that you want from this corner to this corner. And we're going to start down here, so where it's going to be, this is where it's going to be attached once we finish it. So you need a chain that is long as this right here. So you do that, and then we will start our rectangle. Our triangle. We're going to do our chain the length we need it to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Let me see how long that is. It's not quite. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay. That seems to be, for me, 25 is a good chain because we also have to turn. So we want to make sure we add a few. We need to add 2 chains for our turning chain. So once you get it the width you need it to be, add 2 chains. And then we're going to start our triangle. Okay, so we're going to do a double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. And I'm going to be working in the back loop, back bump. You do not have to do that. I just prefer that, so you can do whichever way you like. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to turn it over and get that back bump and make a double crochet. And double crochet all the way across till you get to the last chain. Okay, I finished my first row, and I'm just measuring it to make sure that it is the width of my pocket of the triangle, and it looks good here. Okay, so now we are going to do one more round of double crochets. So I'm gonna chain 1 and turn, and then I'm going to do a double crochet back into the same space. And then just do a double crochet all the way across to the last stitch. Okay, I made it to my last stitch. Also remember, when you, whenever you go in your beginning, if you do a chain 1 or a chain 2, and you go back into that same space at the beginning, and this first one, when you get to the end, you do not go into that chain 2. At the end, you do not go into it. Okay, so now we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. And now we're going to start doing our triangle. So all we're going to do is we're going to skip this first stitch. And we're going to do a double crochet into the next one. And that starts leaning over. So you can see already, it's already starting to go to that way. So that's all we're going to do. We're just going to skip this first one so we can start angling up towards like a triangle. And then we're just going to do 1 double crochet in every stitch till we get to the end, and I'll meet you when you get there. Okay, I'm at the end, and here I do have 1 more stitch left, but I am not going to go into it. I'm going to stop right there. And that's how we're going to get our angle to come up on the other side of the triangle. So do not do this last stitch. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. You're going to skip this first stitch here and go into the next and do a double crochet. And double crochet all the way across until you get to the end. And then as you can see, it's starting to angle in. And this side is too. All right, let's go. I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, I'm near the end and I have, let's see, one more stitch I'm going to take. And there's still one, but we are not going to work into it. Okay, then chain one and turn our work. Now you're going to continue that until you have your point at the top of your triangle. I'll catch up with you when I get close up to there and we can finish up the tip. Skip this first stitch and do your double crochet in the next. Double crochet across. And I'll see you when you get closer to the top of your triangle. Okay, I have almost made it to the top, but I have made a decision. I decided I want my pocket to go all the way down to this dark color instead of having this showing like this. I'm gonna have it go all the way down to meet here because I have an opposite color. I think this looks better. So that's up to you if you want to have it up or if you want to have it down. Depends on if you want your pocket to be deeper also. You can make it go down like I am going to go to the ribbing. So now I also want my triangle to stay in the triangle that's already formed here. I want to be able to see this design. I think that's very cute. So I want to make sure my triangle stays within that. And it looks like about right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm on my 8th round or row. And if I keep going, I won't have enough of a point to fill this in. So I'm going to do some decreases here to make sure I get a sharper point right here. And you can kind of, if you find that you might need to take a loose one more row and then start your decreases, which I might do. Let's see. Let's do that. Let's take off this last row. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm gonna add some extra decreases in here to make this form into a better triangle at the top. Yes, I think that is better. Okay, so let's do that. I already chained one and turned my work. I'm going to skip that first one, and I'm going to do a double crochet decrease. And then do a double crochet. Then when I get to the other end, I'm gonna do a double crochet decrease before I finish that last stitch. Okay, almost to the end. Let me move this so you can see better. Okay, let's see. All right, I have 3 stitches left, but this very last one we are not going to work into. So so the next 2 stitches we're going to do a decrease, double crochet decrease. And I'm not working into that one. So that gives me a little sharper at the top. Chain 1 and turn. Let's do the same thing again. Skip that first one. Do a decrease, double crochet decrease in the next. And let's do 1 double crochet. Let's do another decrease in right here to bring in our top even more. Then a double crochet. And then let's do a decrease. And then a double crochet. And then we're not going in this last stitch here. So let's check it against our cardigan to make sure it is looking the way we want it to be. Yes, that's much, much better. It's filling in like that. And so you can see this is our tip right here. So basically we have 2 more rounds, and we need to make sure it fits tightly, so that very tip is a point. So let's chain 1, skip the first stitch, do a decrease, double crochet decrease, do another decrease, and then there's 1 stitch left. I believe, let's see. No, that's the stitch we do not go into. And we put this down again and see how it is looking. Now, that looks good to me. If yours, for some reason, is taller or wider, you can adjust it and go 1 more row. If you just make it fit into your triangle like that. Okay, so now we're going to fasten off. And you want to leave a piece of yarn that is long enough to sew down this side and across the bottom. So you want to cut off enough that you can sew that down with. So we're going to fasten off. Get our yarn needle. Now position your triangle where you want it to be. And then you start whip stitching, or however you decide to attach it down this side near the inside of your jacket, because you want your hand to go in here. So you want this open. So I'm going to go into the top of this triangle that's on the cardigan for my tip and make sure it gets right in there. And then just come up. Now just attach it through the edge of your triangle and the cardigan. You can whip stitch, or you can do it like this, where you're just going down the edges, however you prefer. Okay, I have completed my triangle and I've put it on. I've sewn it in, and then there is my pocket. And there it is. Now, there is another option. If you would like to put a trim on the edge of your pocket, I'm going to show you on the other cardigan that I made in the gray. I'll show you what I did for this one. I added this furry yarn to the pocket, on the outside of the pocket, and on the inside of my collar. Instead of doing a front post, back post ribbing, I added this yarn to the gray one, and it's had the fur go around it. If you prefer this, then if you're doing the collar, you don't do the front post, back post, you just do this, add this to the end. And if you want this on your pocket, you would add that to your pocket here, I'll show you on the one I've made already. Here's this one, and I added it to the pocket, and it just gives it a little texture and I think a little fun. So if you decide to put that onto yours, you would just I single crochet this on, and just start here and you single crochet it to the edge, and that's how it would go. I found it best with this yarn to make a long tail and go over the tail as you are attaching it, and then attach the tail into it. It unravels quite a bit, and it takes a little while for it to stop raveling, but it does, as you can tell right here. So that is the option if you'd like to try that. I can't remember. I'll remember right now what this is called, but I'll put it in the description box and let you know what this is called. All right, that is my new beginnings cardigan. I hope you enjoyed making it, and I would love to see it if you wanted to post pictures to the Facebook group or send me email. I would love to see it if you make it, or if on Instagram or anything like that. I would love to see what yours comes out to be. All right, I will talk to you later, and have a blessed day.